I enjoyed listening to Charlie Munger at the 2021 Daily Journal annual meeting, and there were three and a half insights that I thought I would share with you. My name is Gary Mashars. I'm the managing partner and chief investment officer of Silver Ring Value Partners. I also teach the value investing seminar at the FW Olin Graduate School of Business. So Charlie was actually really great this year. He was sharper than I thought he was last year, and he gave us a lot of wisdom and things to think about, and three and a half things to that. Stay till the end because I think the last one, the half thing, is probably the most useful to most of us. The first, is kind of he gave his opinion. The whole, discount brokers, Robinhood, the meme stocks, Reddit, and the speculating, fever that's gripping the market. And I don't think there's that much to say about it. It's clearly a bubble in parts of that market. And the thing he highlighted, I think, is worth keeping in mind is that when someone tells you, you know, trading is free, it can't be free because these are businesses, they make money. So whenever someone says, "Oh, free trading, come over here," Charlie's point is that this is really disingenuous and it's a dishonest way to, make a living because they're just making money on the back end in some way that's probably going to hurt, the customer more than if they just paid a straight up honest commission. Not my opinion. I have no individual kind of insight into that, but I do think that he's got it right. There's no free lunch here, and the crowds that are flocking to the Robin Hoods of the world are probably not understanding exactly how things work. So that's the first point. The second point is he got asked the same question that a lot of people have been asking: Is this value investing still works? So what's going on? In this new environment where quote unquote growth stocks have been running up and up and up. And his answer, was very calming. Perhaps not that new, but calming is that of course value investing works. The way he said he defined value investing, which I think is the way most intelligent people define it, is that it's buying something for less than what they think the intrinsic value of that business or that asset is. And he made a point that look, some people search for bargains among bad companies or weak companies. So other people search for bargains among great companies. Neither one necessarily is right. It depends on your approach. The point is, in each case, as long as you're paying more than what you think it's reasonably worth, you're practicing value investing, and of course, that has to work properly implemented. What might not work is buying statistically cheap stocks where you define value very narrowly, as say buying a stock no more than, I don't know, 10 times earnings, something like that. That might stop working, or it might not. But the point is that value investing as a framework is not going to stop working. The third aspect of the meeting I thought was interesting was Charlie's thoughts on learning. And he was asked a number of questions on how do you learn, how do you expand your circle of competence. And I think he made a point that learning is part based on temperament, and that he is wired in a way that when someone shows him a better way to do something, he adopts that idea and incorporates it into his thinking and his process, and that some people don't. I think it's important to the degree you can to try to nudge yourself in the direction of being flexible with ideas. If you encounter a better one, you want to kind of adopt it and use it to replace inferior ideas that maybe you had in the past. It's easier said than done. And I think one thing I would point you guys to is that's not something Charlie mentioned, but Josh Waitzkin, wrote a book called The Art of Learning, which is, I think, a great book. And Josh Waitzkin is a really impressive individual. He was an international chess master prodigy at a very young age, and then he became a Tai Chi push hands champion. There are many international masters. I think there's like 5,000 or something like international masters worldwide. But I don't think there are that many people who master two very different areas of human knowledge, a martial art and chess. At least that's my stereotype. I just don't, I've not met a lot of black belt masters playing chess when I was a kid. Maybe I just didn't meet them. Who knows? So I think it's a great resource if you want. And now to the half thing. And I think he was asked about happiness and how to be happy. And I think this is where it's probably most useful to all of us, which is, I think he said happiness has to do with just starting life with very low expectations. And also when you experience reverses in life, which we all will and we all have and probably will again, not to let yourself stew into misery, but just cope the best you can, control what you can control, and then what you can't, accept and move on. Again, I'm sure it's not easy at the moment, but I also don't think there's really an alternative. The alternative is just to go into a mental self, defeating spiral where your mental state gets worse and worse. And That, and Charlie, if you read his history, he's had some pretty serious hardships early in life and throughout life. So I think he speaks from experience, not just from ignorance. And the last thing in that genre that he talked about is that he said he thinks that each person is born with a happy stat. By happy stat, he means like some hardwired level of happiness, where in his view, almost no matter what their outcome in life is, they are not going to be more happy than that. And that's interesting. It's a little bit maybe bleak in terms of view of humanity that maybe we are preordained to a certain level of happiness. But, I am in my 40s and I can see from my this life experience and knowing different people, there are people who are much happier than others no matter what their objective circumstances are. And there are people who are always unhappy no matter how good things are. And I think we all know those kinds of people, both kinds of those people. And I think that there's something to what Charlie is saying. Anyway, I hope you found something useful. I think Charlie's insights are always great. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.